What's up, curl friends? Dr. Crystal Cunningham here, clinical pharmacist, transformational curl care specialist, and the founder of Kulture Beauty. Here today to talk to you about the number one question we should all avoid on our natural journey. Now, you're probably thinking, what? Why should we avoid questions on our natural journey? And listen, I felt the same way until I realized that this question was the leading cause of frustration and overcomplicating situations on our natural journey. And so today I'm going to address the number one question we should all avoid, tell you why this question is more harmful than helpful, and give you some simple things that you can focus on to help you get to a place where you're more comfortable and confident on your natural journey, and natural hair care ultimately becomes easier. Now, it is not lost on me that natural hair care brings with it a lot of questions, and that most of our journeys are riddled with questions. This reality is what actually drove me to create Kulture Beauty. I had a lot of questions, but there were not a lot of places that could give me factual information that would help me simplify my curl care routine, and then would point me in the right direction of ways to better care for my curls. And so today, I am going to help you hopefully eliminate some of the major mistakes I made on my natural hair journey by pointing out the number one question we should all avoid when we're natural, and then giving you some better things to focus on that will actually make a difference when it comes to making natural hair care easy. And so as we get into this discussion, I do want to point out that not all questions are bad questions, right? I understand that we do have questions on our natural journey. I understand that questions will arise about styling, about caring for our hair, about the appropriate methods that we should employ to reach the goals that we desire on our natural journey, and that is completely normal. The problem is that sometimes the intentions behind our questions and the questions we ask can ultimately lead us to a place where we make things more complicated and we make our journey more difficult. Now, some questions, when we ask them, the answers that we arrive at can get us to a place where we will ultimately make natural hair care easy. But in a lot of situations, especially when we ask this question, we are not going to get to a place where we make our journeys easier. It is going to cause us to be more frustrated. It is a key indicator that sometimes our focus is in the wrong place, and it often leads us to doing a lot of things that drive us away from our goals and away from the intentional work that we should be doing on our natural hair journeys. And so I'm sure you're probably wondering, girl, what is this question? Well, curl friends, the number one question we should avoid on our natural journeys is simply, what products are you using? Shocking, right? Because I know we think this question is really harmless, and in a lot of situations we ask this question because we see a level of definition, an implied level of health, and some curls that we think are the bomb. And so we automatically want to know what people are doing to achieve this. And on the surface, it seems fine, but when we take a little closer look at what our intentions are around asking this question, at what our intentions are around being drawn to what we're looking at, then we start to realize that asking this question will ultimately cause more harm than it will good. Now, for starters, when we ask this question, in a lot of situations, the intention behind it is to create a look, a curl, sometimes to create a style, in which case it's not necessarily as bad if you're asking specifically for styling purposes. But for the most of us, when we ask what product are we using, it is because we have seen someone with a certain level of curl definition, with a certain look of a curl that we have deemed beautiful. And so we think that when we ask this question, the answer that they give us will help us get to a place where our hair will look like theirs. Now, the downside of this is, in 99.9% of the situations, even if we look at their hair on the external and think that our hair may be similar, or our curls may be similar, or we may have some things in common, about 100% of the time, we absolutely do not. And so when our intentions are to create a certain look or a feel or an appearance of a curl, and we ask, what product are you using, it ultimately leads us down the rabbit hole of wasted time, frustration, and failed hairstyles. Now, asking this question with that intention often does not take into consideration the characteristics of their hair, the person that you're asking, or your hair. It doesn't take into the consideration genetics or external factors that may affect the appearance of their curls. It doesn't take into consideration their level of comfortability with their hair, their ability to style their hair, the techniques that they use, how long they've been natural, where they are on their natural journey, how knowledgeable they are about their own curls. And so when we ask this question, what products are you using, without taking into consideration any of those things, we are missing the big picture. And so the big picture will tell us that when we ask those questions without knowing any of that information, we're not going to get the results that they have. The small picture tells us when we ask those questions without any of that information, they're going to give me some information that is going to help me make my curls look just like theirs. And the sad truth is that that's just not going to happen. If we're lucky, we might get close, but the reality is that we can't get the results someone else gets, because there are so many factors that contribute to being able to achieve your goals on your natural hair goal, on your natural journey, and being able to get a certain level of definition, a certain level of health. And if we are just coming in blindly, grabbing the products that somebody else is using without knowing any of that information, the end result in a lot of cases is going to be frustration. And so that is why asking that question can be so damaging, because now you're going to have a closet or a shelf or a room full of products that we deem don't work. Some situations they might not be good. In some situations they could be great products that we just don't know how to use. But we've asked this question, they gave us this little bit of information, and we took it and ran. And so we ultimately get to a place where we can't achieve what we thought we wanted to. We can't achieve what our goals are, because all we have is this small piece of the puzzle, but we don't have the big picture that will ultimately help us get to a place where we're more comfortable and confident on our natural hair journey. And so you're probably wondering, well, what is the big picture? What are the things that I need to know or need to consider when I ask this question? Well, I'll stress to you again that one, we should avoid the question, but the things that we need to focus on instead, the things that we need to be more intentional about, are one, learning more about our curls. Now, hands down, if anybody asks me what should I know about natural hair care, or what should I know when starting my natural hair journey, I would tell you that embracing your curls is the key to success on your natural hair journey. And embracing your curls is a couple of things, but what it really boils down to is making sure that you have an intimate knowledge of your curls, right? So you know how your hair should look, feel, and behave, and that you're intentional about doing what it takes to maintain the health of your curls and reach your curl goals. And then the other thing that you want to make sure that you're focused on, or what you want to do, is that in addition to learning more about your curls, and in addition to being intentional about caring for your curls, you also have to be intentional about promoting the health of your hair. Now, I have said this a couple of times, and I feel like it's worth reiterating, but perfection is not the goal of our natural hair journey. Healthy hair is. And so when we know more about our curls, when we are intentional about caring for our curls, then we are better able to reach one of our goals, which should be health. And when we reach health, everything else falls into place. When we start with embracing our curls, everything else falls into place. So instead of asking someone what products are they using, get more intentional about your curls. Focus more on your hair. And you're probably thinking, well, I am. That's why I asked the question. But the reality is, what's driving us to ask that question often alerts us to the fact that we might not be as intentional about our hair. We're intentional about the look of our hair, but we need to be equally intentional about embracing our curls and promoting the overall health of our hair. And then another thing I would like to point out is that products are not the answer, right? When we are struggling with issues like dryness, when we are struggling with issues like curl definition, longevity in our styles, even length retention. Products are not the solution to that problem. Now, they may be a tool that assists us in addressing that problem, but they are not the ultimate end all be all correct all for the issues that we are having on our natural hair journey. And a lot of the problems that we face on our natural hair journey can be addressed when we start with embracing our curls, when we start with focusing on our hair specific needs, and when we start with focusing on improving the health of our curls. So remember, curl friends, instead of asking your curl friends with the dope curls what products are they using, tell them their hair looks good, and then get intentional about embracing your curls, about being intentional about caring for your curls, and about being intentional about improving the health of your curls. This will ultimately help you save time, build confidence, and make natural hair care easy. And it is the launching pad for you being successful on your natural hair journey. Well, guys, that is all I have for you today. I hope this resonated with you, and I hope it will help you to eliminate the number one question, the leading cause of frustration on your natural journey, which is asking our curl friends, what products are you using? Now, curl friends, if this resonated with you, and if you know a curl friend that needs to hear this message as well, please like, share, and subscribe. And just for you, curl friends, I'm creating a free Facebook group. Stay tuned, details are forthcoming, and I will drop the link in the bio or description below. And if you are looking for one-on-one help on ways to simplify your curl care routine, to save time, build confidence, and make natural hair care easy, I would love, love, love to help you. Visit me at boldculture.com, and let's get started today. And until next week, curl friends, go boldly.